Today's plenary sees TB and HIV advocates team up around the 27th anniversary of World AIDS Day to see how we can combat both diseases. Let's take a look at some of the highlights.
Today's plenary is entitled The State of TB HIV on the 27th anniversary of World AIDS Day. When considering all of these new plans of action for the future, it's important to begin with where we are right now, the current state. What is the state of TB HIV today, and what's needed to meet the ambitious but possible targets now set for the future?
I would say the unique thing about today is probably the same thing that's been unique for the last 20 years, which is it's ridiculous that we're not eliminating tuberculosis, right? So imagine if in the AIDS world we had a drug that was curative in 6 months. You think we'd be accepting a 1.5% decline per year in new infections, or the slow pace of scale-up of treatment? It's ridiculous.
I am a Cape Townian, and so I do have a perspective, and Mark, I am quite worried about this region. The reason is that sitting on the ground here in Cape Town, I'm very aware that we notify more tuberculosis from this city alone than the whole of, North America and a good part of Europe put together. That is not right.
You don't have to solve poverty to solve TB. You just have to get into the communities where the TB is, where the poor people are, to support them. And then over time, you'll solve the poverty. So to me, this is just taking what we know, and we won't, in the case of HIV, eliminate that way. We will need a vaccine, at least the way we know of things, because we don't have curative therapy. We need a cure, we need a vaccine. But for TB and for malaria, we have a cure. So we can actually eliminate.
If you see the history, and if you see the history of tuberculosis and the other challenges, the missing point was exactly the social mobilization. Again, this is science. This is evidence. It was in 2000 when Nelson Mandela called for breaking the silence and the African people was mobilizing the streets of Durban that the shift happened. 1 year after, there was a special session on HIV/AIDS at the United Nations in New York, where the commitments that we are taking there, they shifted the whole response. And then there is no secret here. And the key for political commitment is bringing the people on board.
To the persons who are TB positive and HIV positive, I just like to say, please get hope, keep up the hope. You're going to be well as I am well today. I never thought I'll be sitting and talking among the other speakers like this. I never imagined myself being in a big platinum like this. So anything can happen if you keep up the good hope.
HIV hasn't always got it right, obviously, but it certainly has taken treatment to scale, and it certainly has had an incredible community mobilization, at least in this part of the world. And I think that's been its strength, has been very powerful civil society involvement, real engagement with community. And we have, as I say, we haven't cracked it. There's still a lot of stigma and discrimination. But I do think that there are lessons within that could be translated to the TB world. I also think it makes lots of sense that the two programs talk more to each other. The two diseases often coexist in one individual. So it obviously makes sense that we realize efficiencies in both programs, which will also work for efficiencies for the individual, but I think will get us a bigger bang for the buck. The world needs to know that we have not cracked TB, that there are whole countries where TB is rife, and it's the biggest killer today of infectious diseases. So, it surpasses HIV. I think there's a lot of people around the world who'd be quite surprised to hear that. So I do think we need a better push, better advocacy generally. As the president-elect and representing the president and the broader governing council of the International AIDS Society, I'm really happy to say that we have made TB a very strong priority, along with hepatitis C and hepatitis B. With us moving to Durban next year, it is clear that we need to have a very strong focus on tuberculosis. And so we're having a 2-day pre-conference. It's called TB 2016. And I think this is the start of an important movement to say the two epidemics are so linked. How can we exploit the strengths and the weaknesses of both to make sure that we do move the agendas forward? So very excited about Durban and TB 2016. It'll be the 16th and 17th of July next year.